Hi, and welcome to Sunday Gravy. Today we're going to show you how we make tomato sauce with pork, meatballs, and sausage. And then we're going to finish it up and serve it with ravioli from our favorite pasta maker in town. First we start out with about 3 tablespoons of olive oil and a piece of pork butt that I got from the butcher. This is the fatty end of the pork butt that I asked for specifically. The lean end they usually use for cutlets, but this is going to give me a little more fat and flavor. Okay, so now we've finished our pork butt. It's nice and brown all over. Now I want to add some garlic. I let the pan cool down a little bit, but it's still hot. And I want to stir that in. And I'm starting to scrape up these little brown bits on the bottom to give it some extra flavor. That's what gives it a lot of flavor. A little extra garlic here, I don't know why I waste it. Stir it around. I don't want to burn it. So now I'm ready to add some tomato. Now here I have some San Marzano puree. I've never used this before. I've used all different kinds of canned tomatoes. I've used fresh tomatoes. I've never used San Marzano. And what I have is I have 1 can of puree, which I'm going to heat up now. Stir in that wine and that garlic. That brown gravy that I'm making now. You see it's getting a nice brown deep color. And I'm going to cook this for a little while. I'm going to add another can of tomato and some other spices, as you'll see. So now we have a can of whole San Marzano tomatoes. And I'm going to just pulse these in the blender because I like to have a little bit of chunky tomato. The other tomato was puree. And I like a little bit more texture, a little bit more tooth to the sauce. So I'm just going to put these in here. With the sauce, and shoot some basil in there to add some extra flavor. I'm not going to do much here. You know, like good sauce in there. Top on. And I'm just going to do a quick pulse. And that's basically all I wanted. I've got tomato sauce there that has a little bit more texture than just plain puree. Now our sausage has been cooking for about 20 minutes. Started out on high or medium high just to get it a little brown. I'll lower the heat and let it simmer for a while. I want to render some of the fat. You can see it's much smaller now. It's cooked down. And then we're going to take this and put it into the sauce. Now ready to finish off our sauce. I mean, it is going to sit and simmer for a while. I'm of the opinion that the sauce can't simmer too much, although it does change the taste, and there is something to be said for a lesser cooked sauce that has a fresher taste to it. But in this case, I like a thick, complex sauce. We are going to add some additional spices to it at this point. Here I have some freshly chopped parsley. Now, in my opinion, whatever you're making today, this kind of recipe, you need to have fresh parsley, and you need it in different stages. I have this on very low now, so the herbs can simmer in with the sauce. Now I like to add a little parsley, and I'll add some more later and finish it up with that. Also, I like fresh basil, and I don't even bother to cut it. I just rip it up into pieces, and I'll leave the stem behind there. Just rip it up and let it cook in with your sauce. I also like to add fennel. This is fennel seed and a little hot pepper. Throw that in there, stir it in. And now that we've added our herbs in, the sauce is pretty much ready. I'm just going to cover it and let it cook for a while. And then I'm going to move on to the meatballs in a minute, and I'm going to let the meatballs cook also. But wanted to point out that a couple of herbs and spices that I usually add that I don't have on hand, and I'm a little disappointed in myself. I usually add about half a teaspoon of oregano, and I usually cook this with a bay leaf as well. I don't have those spices, but it is what it is. I'm not going out. I'm in for the night, and we're going to put the lid on this for a little while. Ready to move on to the meatballs. For my meatballs, I like to use ground beef, which is a combination, ground meat, which is a combination of beef, veal, and pork. Here I have about a pound and a half. I use 1 egg, chopped parsley, chopped garlic, about a cup of locatelli, pecorino romano, about a half a cup to a third of a cup of breadcrumbs, and then here I have a couple of slices of whole bread, which I've also soaked in milk and makes kind of a paste. I like to add a little olive oil, and of course some salt and pepper. Okay, so now I've added all my ingredients into the bowl. And I'm getting primitive with it. I'm mixing it with my hands, making sure that everything gets mixed in. The cheese and the breadcrumbs and the parsley, the egg in there to keep it moist, a little olive oil as well. And mix it all evenly together before we roll it into balls. Taking all of our ingredients for the meatballs, mix them all together, and now I'm rolling them into balls. Like medium-sized meatballs, not too big, not too small. And we're going to roll this into about 12 meatballs. I've got 10 on the plate there right now. Okay, I made a small tester meatball and I put it in the pan. It's starting to sizzle and brown up, so I'm just about ready to put my meatballs in. So I'll take my meatballs, make sure they're nice and smooth and round, put them in the pan. I'm going to brown these on all sides, probably take about 10 minutes. And then they're going to go into the sauce and finish cooking for probably another half an hour to 45 minutes when we're ready to serve our meal. Now we're going to take our mini raviolis, freshly made from around the corner. And it's ready to serve. First I take some of the ravioli, which I throw in a little extra sauce. Doesn't that look good? Now I'm ready to dig into this delicious meal. So until next time, we'll see you next week on Sunday Great.